one of the ways of working that you outlined was around empowering employees to take more calculated risks, which I really quite like. Because I think we're hearing this a lot more now, trying to help employees make decisions themselves, because sometimes they're the best people to make decisions, particularly if they're with the customer at the time, or they're experienced in that. I suspect this is something that you're looking at obviously rolling out and supporting, because that's two things, is it? It's number one, it's helping people feel empowered and feel they can make decisions, but then there's definitely a cultural element to that as well. And I suspect, is that something that you're ensuring that around your internal talent marketplace is aligned with the overachieving goals of the organization as well?
It is, and so this was the ability to be empowered to make decisions was probably one of the biggest themes that we saw. People not understanding whether they were empowered, how could they figure out if they were empowered, and sometimes your leader just says you can go and do that, but you don't have a clue how to gather the right data to make the right decision. So again, we created this proprietary training as kind of a 3-part training, if you will. So some of it is self-study that really just talks about the psychology of decision-making and empowerment, real-world examples and case studies. But I think more importantly is a conversation that you as a leader have with your team about areas that you're making decisions where maybe you think you don't need to, and you can give that to your team, or them being able to push and say, I think I should be able to make this decision. I mean, really having that deep conversation. And that is just something that is just starting right now. As you and I speak, we're just starting to roll that out and cascade it through the organization. But part of that is also, again, a pretty easy tool that says, here, what are the risks or potential risks of making this decision? And what is the likelihood of that risk occurring? And you can look at it on this template and it will show you if it's low, then you are empowered to do that. If it's high, then you probably need to take some partners and think about who your stakeholders are. So again, prescriptive, but also a nice tool to say, I'm following along with what this is teaching me. I'm pretty sure I feel okay making this decision, and there are very few, as you know, decisions that you can make that can't be unmade or undone. And so it's kind of erasing a little bit of that fear of what if I make a mistake? Well, that's okay, because we all do that all the time. We just have to learn from that, move on and fast make another decision or feel more empowered. So.
Yeah, and I guess that's doing a number of things from the way you've explained it, Tiffany. Number one, obviously, is empowering people to make decisions. 2, you're providing a guide to help them to make those decisions, so they feel confident that they're making decisions on the right things, and obviously referring to others maybe where there's more of a risk involved in making that decision. And the second, and again, I'm guessing for customers, what that does is it makes things go quicker. So it's a slightly more agile way of doing it. It probably reduces some of the bureaucracy that any organization has around decision making as well. And it frees up leaders, because I think leaders can become a little bit overwhelmed sometimes with the amount of decisions and that they have to get involved in. So I guess it does all that. I mean, how are you? Again, appreciate that you only put this in place in June 22, but what are the sort of steps you're taking to measure the effectiveness of this particular way of working, but maybe all the ways of working that you outlined?
We have, again, we love getting our survey data out. So, after we had this town hall, we had 92% of respondents say, we get connected culture. We love this way of working. We're excited about it. The structure piece, we put that in place over a year ago and mostly got that right, not completely. We've made some adjustments, but people are settling into that. The connected culture piece, like I said, it's already who we are. We just kind of put a name to it. So people feel that and they get that and it resonates. The ways of working, we're continuing to really embed into the fabric of who we are. So we've had, this group, this grassroots group that took on this work in the first place has done road shows explaining what are these tools? How do you look at this playbook? We have asked our leaders in each of their all hands meetings to go over the ways of working, talk about how things are, how are things coming to life, and highlight these in their meetings. So we really are doing a lot of work to reiterate that this is the way we work at Block. And so far so good, but again, pretty early in. And I think the work for my team and myself and my leaders is really to keep this alive and keep pointing people back to this playbook and back to these ways of working. The great thing is I hear a lot of these of our buzzwords right now, like we're iterating for success, right? I'm aligning my outcomes, right? I'm empowering you to make this decision. So the lingo has definitely hit well, and we just have to continue to actually make it real for all of our associates.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.